On November 2nd, the Sixers made the headlines, but it wasn't for basketball reasons. Once you get Joel Embiid angry, the locker room with him in it becomes a dangerous place. A Philadelphia Inquirer columnist, Marcus Hayes, wrote something so distasteful that he got Embiid furious at him.
Like that dude, he's not here. Marcus, whatever his name is.
Fueled by emotions, Joel confronted the guy and pushed him after exchanging words. Security had to intervene since Joel is almost twice the size compared to Hayes. Naturally, the staff asked everyone not to spread the word around, but it's the sports media. Remember, the news came out faster than Jason calling, and it started a ton of debate. Hello basketball fans, and welcome to Hoop Vision. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It takes only a second, costs nothing, and will give you access to more basketball stories. So, what was it that this guy wrote? They removed the article quickly after receiving the backlash for it, but this is the part that caused the problem. Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son, Arthur, as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. Embiid has been great at just the opposite. Now in his 11th season, he consistently has been in poor condition. What? How is Embiid's lack of playing time related to this? Was this Hayes trying to motivate Embiid to play more? If yes, then he failed miserably. It is an unwritten rule you don't bring up someone's family when criticizing their work, especially the deceased ones. Even if Hayes didn't have bad intentions, the delivery was straight awful. But this is only if we give him the benefit of the doubt. We know how sneaky the sports media can be and how dirty their tactics are when they have a certain goal in mind. Just take a look at this.
Game 3, there's no flood, you win. Game 4, there was flood, you lose. And this year, you visit us. Game 3 there's flood, you lose. Game 4, there's no flood, you win.
Brother,
so
you asked me about the flood in practice the other day.
As you probably know, the media can be shameless at times. This is why people have scorched Hayes on Twitter, saying he crossed the line, among many other more inappropriate things. The NBA reacted quickly with an announcement they'd initiate an investigation, after which they suspended Embiid for 3 games. It's not like they've ruined Philly's season with this, but it makes us ask the question, is it really Joel the one to blame? Joe Dumars, who's now the NBA's executive vice president of basketball operations, gave an official statement trying to balance between maintaining the league's image and satisfying the basketball community. Mutual respect is paramount to the relationship between players and media in the NBA. While we understand Joel was offended by the personal nature of the original version of the reporter's column, interactions must remain professional on both sides and can never turn physical. It's understandable to hear something like this from the NBA representative, but Joe was once on the Bad Boys Pistons, where physical was pretty much the only way of doing things. Sure, they never had a brawl with reporters, but he, of all people, should know how it feels when someone disrespects you on a deep personal level. That is why Joel deserves a break, even if he makes it easy not to like him sometimes. The load management has become a joke in the modern NBA, and the consequences are obvious. If we don't include things like this article, there's also the negative public image of NBA superstars that are seen as soft, but the biggest hit at the league are the numbers. Yes, the viewership has significantly dropped over the years since people don't expect to see the stars playing in nationally televised games as much as before. Imagine it's Christmas Day, you've gathered around your family waiting to see Denver against Philly, for example, and minutes before start, you hear Embiid will be resting. Resting from what? Sure, athletes can get tired and need to take care of their body throughout the season, but on the other hand, they have the best staff available to help them do exactly that. They have the equipment, the nutritionists, the finances for additional expert methods and opinion. What more is there to make the guys play? We're not saying Embiid deserved the shots fired at him, quite the opposite, but it's like he gave the guy ammunition. From one point of view, it's understandable what the Sixers are trying to do. They have 2 superstars who are injury prone and they want to save them as much as they can for the postseason. But first, they have to make it to the postseason. Load management means nothing if you're taking the number 14 spot in the conference. That's probably why the Hayes guy thought he'd spark controversy within the basketball community. He thought people would turn on Embiid, but he was wrong. Yes, we want to see him play, but at the end of the day, it's basketball. There's zero need to bring up his late brother or his son, no matter the story behind it. People came forward to defend Embiid for another reason that's been bugging everyone for a long time. As you know, the NBA media has this practice of interviewing the players straight inside the locker room. To some, this is completely cool, but to others, it's unacceptable. Why would you bother someone who's just played a game and wants to cool off and take a shower? Why can't reporters let the players soak up the emotions and talk afterwards? Well, there are 2 reasons. First, the exclusivity is unfortunately a big deal in this business, so them being at the scene somehow benefits them despite everyone hating their guts for being annoying as hell. Second, they think this could somehow impact their personal relationship with the players, which could later lead to hearing the news news first and earning those promotions. Basically, it all comes down to exclusivity, which they adore like it's divine. These people have no boundaries and will sometimes ask the most stupid or inappropriate things ever. It's a surprise there are no more reactions like these. So, should the NBA do something about it? There's a certain protocol regarding the sports media and their access into the NBA team's locker rooms. They have to be assigned a Tier 1 status by the league, and even then there are rules they have to oblige when doing their interviews. In Embiid's case, Marcus Hayes did not break the rules by being there, but someone should have known better not to put that man in the same room with Joel. Every franchise has a PR team and a member of the staff present during these occasions, so they should have asked Hayes not to get in front of their superstar. For Joel, it was probably like rubbing salt into the wound, so it's no surprise why he reacted the way he did. There was no formal ban for Marcus Hayes as he didn't physically respond to the push, but if he has at least a minimum of human decency, he'll keep a distance from Embiid. So far, it's announced he'd still be covering the Sixers, but we all know who isn't going to be giving him any interviews. Speaking of interviews, it's not really obvious why the post-game press conferences aren't enough. They are better in every sense of the word. The players get to come out fresh and clear-headed, and even then they might get some hot, tempered statement that would probably sound way worse if it were given in the locker room right after a disappointing loss. We get it, the NBA is a business, and every business needs marketing, but is it really necessary to chase the players into the locker room? Imagine you've just done a shift at your job, you want to take a shower and chill for a moment, and some random dude is asking you what you did wrong, where you see the space for improvement, and how will that day affect the rest of your year. People criticize Jokic for not being more marketable, but he summed up the sports media perfectly. Unfortunately, the money makes the world go round, and guys like Hayes, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, and other loudmouthers make money for their networks, which is why we have to hear their insufferable takes through our screens. As long as we follow basketball, we'll have to suck it up and accept these guys have a role in the grand scheme of things. This incident with Embiid probably won't change much in terms of how much space the journalists and other media get in this league, but at least it'll make them more aware of how they speak to and about the athletes. Sometimes, choosing your words wisely is enough to make a difference between a good story and a scandal, which is why we should hold these media guys accountable just as much as they're trying to do the same with the players. That's it for today, Hoop Fam. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments what do you think of this entire situation. Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See you in the next one.